What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to Meditations. So, I know that in the past on this channel, I've talked a lot of shit about Bitcoin, right? And cryptocurrencies in general, which I think has a lot of merit to it, actually. Ones aside from Bitcoin, perhaps. And there's reasons as to why I think one should be hesitant when considering investing in something like this. Let me tell you why. But even with that being said, I think I'm about to buy some. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have just a little teeny tiny bit. All right. Bought it around $60,000 a share. And it is at an all-time high right now. Which always sucks when you buy something at an all-time high. But I have one rule when it comes to buying and reselling. And I think at this point, investing. And that rule is never sell at a loss, no matter what. You hold on to that bullshit until it's in the positives again. And as far as I see it, then you keep it after that. But that's just sort of a rule in my playbook, I think. And I'm not sure if everyone wants to follow something like that. What I have here is just 32 ounces of silver. It's called a kilo or whatever. 1 kilogram fine silver. You see that? Just love holding this stuff in my hand. It's very heavy for its size. A kilo, obviously. And I bought this stuff a couple years ago. And then I also have this 1 ounce gold coin. So this thing right now is worth about $1,200 or so. Maybe $1,100. I'm not entirely sure. I got it at $800. This right here is worth almost $2,700 as of today. And I bought it for about $1,800. So what is that? A $900 profit if I were to sell it today, if you want to call it that. And I sold one yesterday or 2 days ago. And the guy handed me $2,635 in cash. No questions. He barely even looked at the coin. It was something else. It was the first time I did it. But I mean, I got this stuff from JM Bullion. And I was like, okay, sounds like a good deal to me. It was nice. I guess that's how it works. It was a good experience, actually, for me to know what it's like actually selling this stuff. And yeah, I could have tried to sell it online, but I don't want to have to deal with all that bullshit. Trying to meet somebody with cash, with fake bills, all this other bullshit. I'm going to go to the coin shop, take a little bit of a loss on what I otherwise could make, but obviously that wasn't much of a loss. I profited $900 with the intent of investing that money further, and that's where this Bitcoin comes in. So here are 3 negative things about Bitcoin as to why I've been hesitant on it and skeptical on it, but at the same time, perhaps cautious, but buying some. And yeah, I can't help but wonder where the hell it's going in the future, and that's where I'm going to get to in just a minute. So one thing I don't like about Bitcoin, one of the biggest things, and there's some things that I do like, but I'll get to that in just a moment. It has no intrinsic value whatsoever. This stuff like gold, they've been using gold and silver ever since the beginning of recorded history as currency, right? This stuff has value. They like it because it's good for jewelry and weapons. And now, more than ever, it's even more valuable because it's used in electronics, medicine, and so forth. Batteries and all that shit. So it could be argued that it's more valuable and useful than ever before. In fact, that argument is irrefutable because it's used in all sorts of shit that we need. You know what I mean? It's used in cell phones, and I mean, how many cell phones are going into dump every day, and then new ones are being made? And there's more people. It's good stuff, and the reason why it has intrinsic value also before technology, it can be melted down into a very, very fine amount to where it can be kind of optimal in terms of using it as currency. Of course, you would see people using it as jewelry. Throughout all cultures of the world, all parts of the world, people loved this shit for good reason, and that's why I bought some. It's sort of the natural world reserve currency, if you will, which is why I bought it, because people were losing faith in the US dollar. I mean, we're seeing them print the thing into oblivion. I could get to that in a different video. I mean, I have some confidence that strength is being brought back to the dollar. I've talked about that on previous videos, which is why I sold a gold coin. And I was watching things happen during the election and the stock market, Bitcoin, gold and silver. As I speculated, gold and silver was going to be going down because people were getting more faith in the U.S. economy, knowing what seems to be coming. But that's not what this video is about. So the Bitcoin, no intrinsic value whatsoever. The thing's freaking invisible. It's numbers on a screen, digital numbers on a screen. Number two, it requires energy to even exist. All right. Like they say this shit, you know, the people who would do the mining and all that, they'd have like these buildings with like graphics cards all over the freaking place. And these things would cost like $10,000 a month in electric bill just to operate. Well, yeah, so it requires a ton of energy to exist. Reason number three, why I'm hesitant on it. World governments could kick it out of their economy, and I don't know what's to come. I'm going to have to look into this a bit further. But say that Big Red Dragon country or China decides not to let their people use it. I mean, maybe they already don't. I'm not sure. All of a sudden, everyone's going to have to sell it, put it back on the market, throw it back into the reserve, right? In which case, it's going to cause a surplus. And that's going to drive down the value. It's going to tank the value. So anytime a world government or a nation's government, and who knows who the hell might do this? You know, we got Russia, we got India, we got all the Middle Eastern places. I mean, who knows, man? This shit could happen anywhere. And anytime it happens, it's going to take the dollar average value on this thing is going to take a massive hit. Fortunately, that's not the case right now. We know that with the whole thing that Trump had, he went to the Bitcoin convention or crypto convention, and he talked about how he's not going to regulate it as the other side wanted to do. So that's why we're seeing it going up right now, because it's not going to be regulated. It's not going to be like honed in, spied on, all that shit. We're not going to be forced to like not use it or something. So people have confidence in it, and that's why we're seeing the price go up. Here are two good things I like about Bitcoin, which I think is why I'm going to buy it. And I don't know, I might stretch it out over the next couple of months. My speculation is, and I'll get to that in just a minute, but the things that I like about it, only 21 million exist. There's a market cap for Bitcoin. So we're all, of course, buying shares in it, right? We're buying shares in one of those 21 million coins, right? Or all those 21 million coins, the stockpile. We're just buying shares in the stockpile. And it has that cap. What you see with the other cryptos, which is why I don't trust any of them, they don't have that cap. They can print that shit into oblivion or create it into oblivion, right? I'm not sure about the ins and outs. I mean, maybe other ones do have a cap, but the fact that Bitcoin has that cap is inherent as to why we're seeing what's happening happen with it right now, meaning the value going up like crazy. Number two, things that I like about it, aside from say, oh yeah, it's the people's money, it's not taxed by the government, this and that, it's our own currency. Yeah, those are all good things to an extent. But number two that I like about it, it keeps the US dollar in check, which I think is why we saw Trump, for example, going to that convention and in essence being for it. Because I think he knows the president doesn't have power over the Federal Reserve, which is the bank that our country signed into, these private conglomerates that control the money supply and control the interest rates to their desire, be it bad or good for the economy at any given time. And they can print the US dollar into oblivion. In 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So it used to be connected with gold, right? Like every dollar had a share in X amount of gold that the Treasury had. They decided to sign it off that. Pretty bad fucking idea as far as I see it, and as far as many see it, for good reason. Because now it's just invisible shit that doesn't have any intrinsic value behind it, outside of, say, the U.S. economy, which, of course, commies on both sides have been signing our economy out of existence for the last, 70, 80 years. If you look at the trade deals, you look at NAFTA, you look at Big Dragon country joining the WTO and all the people who are behind that. This shit is pulling it all apart. So it's pulling away the power to our assets. So, and they're coupling that with printing the hell out of the US dollar, destroying the value of it. So it's a good thing that we have this alternate currency that can help keep the dollar in check. Because I think it puts the Federal Reserve, or the folks behind the Fed, in a position where they're like, okay, we could keep printing the hell out of this money into oblivion, but hold on, we have the people who have this other currency that has a cap, unlike our dollar. There's only 21 million of them. Our dollar currently, the debt is 35 trillion. So I don't know how many actually exist in the world, but that's the debt. It's pretty fucked up. And apparently we owe $1 trillion is added on interest every year. This is compounding interest, So this is really fucked up. And, but with that being said, they know that the people have their currency they could use. Now, yeah, they could use gold and silver, but who's actually melting that shit down and trading it, for like an Apple or something. That's why the good thing is Bitcoin. It's all digital, and it can be broken down like that to really minute purchases through cell phones and shit. So, I mean, to an extent, you could call it digital gold. Now, that bothered me for a while, because the thing about gold is it has intrinsic value and Bitcoin does not. But it's digital gold in the sense that it can be broken down to a very, very minute core to where it can be used for, subtle, minor, small trades. Buy apples and shit from your neighbor. Or pay somebody to rake your fucking lawn. Or who's going to give a shit about leaves if we're in a economic civilization destruction, right? So more like... trade them for chicken eggs or something, or buy some boom boom stuff, boom boom sticks, boom boom cartridges, things like that. I don't know, but so it's more practical than something like this for those reasons. So it kind of is the digital gold in that essence. But I hate to say it, man, I'm thinking about buying some of that shit. Part of me, like I said, I just sold a gold coin 2 days ago. I have that $2,600 cash sitting in my desk. Part of me wants to put it in the bank, straight up buy Bitcoin, $2,600 worth. Problem is, it's at an all-time high. But I don't know if that's going to go down. At the least, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put $200 to $500 in it over the next couple days, and then reevaluate. Come to terms with whether or not I want to put that full amount of gold into it. That's where I'm at with it right now. I mean, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Bitcoin, I think for the next 4 years at least, it's going to be, my speculation is that people are going to trust it to an extent. They're not going to be afraid of the government like overruling it or whatever. But the thing is, there's more trust in the US dollar as well. With the whole talks about manufacturing coming back, bringing power back to the economy by drilling like hell, things like that. Tax reduction, deregulation, all the things that add to a more powerful economy, which in turn means more power to the US dollar. So you're going to have these two competing things, but it just seems like... Yeah, I think I'm going to get some, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. I mean, my other thought is I'm going to put some into the S&P 500, some into the Geo shit. But yeah, I mean, I'm really thinking about buying some more. But let me know in the comments your thoughts on these matters, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace be with you.